What are typography? Now, basically, you can just call typography text. That's all. That's the simplest form. Text. Everybody understands text. Whatever is written is a text. You can't draw. You can write a text. You can draw a shape. You can't write a shape. So typography is the art and technique of arranging typeface fonts, blah blah blah. We talked about it in the last video. It plays a crucial role in graphic design, branding, advertisement, and communication. Because without you actually typing, you are not communicating anything. If you are not typing, you're not communicating anything. So typography is very important in your design. So which was which now brings us to something very important. What's the difference between typography and typeface and font? Now, there's typography, there's typeface, and there's font. A lot of people confuse these three, yeah. But with my years in this industry, I believe I can give a simple answer to that. So basically, typography is just um, the general term for the whole this thing, for the general term that is used for any text. Text and typography, you can call them together. So it's just like calling fish. You know, we have fish in the water. So fish is the general term. When you get any thing from the water that looks like fish, you call it a fish. But in this, within the family of fish, yeah, we have some extra within the broad name fish, rather within the broad name fish, we have families, which is called typeface, yeah, which is called typeface. So the family of a font is called the typeface. So for example, Montserrat is a typeface. um what's it called, this I use this Poppins. Poppins is a typeface because it has its own family. There are a lot of other fonts under it. However, fonts are the actual individual individual text, individual style. That's font. For example, Pacifico does not have any family, so Pacifico is a font. It's not a typeface. Um, what's it called? We have Bebas, Bebas or Bibas. A lot of people call it Bibas. I'm a Yoruba guy, and we call it differently. So Bibas is a font because it doesn't have its own family, but Montserrat is a typeface because it has its own family. There are a lot of, because we have Montserrat bold, extra bold, Montserrat italic, Montserrat this, Montserrat that, Montserrat blah blah blah, Poppins this, Poppins that. But Pacifico doesn't have bold. Pacifico doesn't have. So it's a font. It's not a typeface. You understand? So, however, this typeface, we have different five categories of typeface. Let's put it like that. So we have five categories of typeface, and the first category, we are these categories are based on the emotion they convey, the emotion they put out there anytime, or the psychology behind them. We categorize them based on their psychology. So the first one are the serif typeface. And if you look at this the way these fonts are written, this serif font, the number one, if you look at the way it is written, you will understand that it is different from the usual font that has always been used. So serif typeface, they are very common. In fact, they are very, very common. You see them everywhere. If you open your book, you see it. If you open a magazine, it's always there. Whatever you open, you always see serif font. And why are they called serif font? Because they have small decorative stroke. Now, if you look at this, let me see if I can zoom in a little more. So if you look at this, there is this extra stroke that is coming out of this letter K. There's this extra stroke that is coming from this R. There's extra stroke that is coming from here. So these are serifs. They are called serif, which the extra stroke are called serif. That is why the font, any font that looks like this, are serif, and they are associated with tradition, formality, and readability in print media. So printing press love this a lot because it helps people to read whatever they print very well than any other typeface, especially that script typeface. Those ones are not easy to read. So I will get there. I know you are seeing it, but we'll get there. I'll explain why it is called script. Or you are even seeing why it is called script. And sans serif typeface, sans and serif means lacks serif. There is no serif with it. So sans serif, no serif, non serif. So whatever you call it, it might be new serif, no serif. Just know that anything that has sans serif, it means it doesn't have extra stroke. Serif means extra stroke. Sans serif means lacks extra stroke. So this they have more modern, clean, and minimalistic appearance. So if we zoom in, for example, when we zoomed in to this letter F over here, you can see that the serif has an extra stroke of F here. But the sans serif, when we zoom into a letter F, there is nothing like, it is minimal. There is nothing like extra stroke. It's just F with its stroke. No extra thing for you. You understand? So that's sans serif, and they convey sense of simplicity, clarity, and informality. So if I write with sans serif, mostly it means I'm not trying to make it extra official, and that's the reason why this book is mostly written in sans serif. So it's not like I want you to take it like a do or die stuff. For example, you can't expect the imagine a memo coming out from the state government or the federal government coming out, and they are writing it, the letters are written in sans serif. Like nobody's going to take them too serious, right? But with serif fonts, serif's font, it looks like, yo, this is a matter of emergency. Understand? So that is why they use it mostly. They use serif font mostly um in official posts, and sans serif are used mostly in unofficial or semi-official way. Then we have script and typeface. Now, even me, I'm finding it hard to read this, but I'm going to try and read it. I said here, script typeface mimic uh, handwriting and cursive styles, adding a personal and elegant touch to designs. Yeah, and they are often used for invitation, logo, and decorative elements. So you should understand that they don't just use script typeface anyhow. Don't just use it anyhow. You use it for majorly, what you use script typeface for is majorly logo, when you are trying to convey signature, or when you are trying to you are trying to mimic an handwriting. So you use script typeface majorly. You don't just use it, you can't use it in a letter. It's not possible. You cannot use it in a letter. The only time you can use it in a letter is when you are talking to your loved one. That's for me the only way to use script in a letter. If you are talking to your boyfriend, girlfriend, your wife, your husband, and you want to send them a letter that looks as if you actually wrote it, so you can use script, right? Don't use it when you are trying to communicate official things or unofficial, even if it's not official but it's still a little bit serious, like these PDFs that you are reading. Do not use script font at all. Then we have display type font. Display type fonts uh, are decorative and expressive, and intended for use in large size for headlines, logo, and branding purposes. So they comes in a wide range of style, from ornate and elaborate to playful and whimsical. So display type fonts are just, they 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 want to look like script, but you understand the difference when you are looking at script. These are still a little, they are more readable than script. They are more readable than script. You can't confuse a display type font for an handwriting. It's not possible, because no human handwriting is as cool as this display type font. So what we use it majorly for is when you are trying to get use something like an headline, and that is it. You don't use it like three in a word. You don't use it three in a word. It doesn't make any more sense. So you use it for one word, maximum of two words, and that is the end. You feel me? So maximum of two words and you are done. Don't use it more than two words. So then monospaced typeface. These ones, they have fixed width, character, and making them ideal for coding. So you would have seen most, if you understand, if you've coded before or you're a developer, you understand that monospaced typeface are just what are used in coding, and this is an example of it. So next we're going to be talking about the actual psychology of font. So I waited this long to actually say something. Don't use font anyhow. Don't use font anyhow. Now there are places that you will use. There are still some other type of fonts, because there are some fonts that look destructive. They are not script, they are not display. These fonts are destructive. There are some fonts that are comical. They are comical fonts. These comics rather, these fonts exist, but they are not here because we can categorize them under display, and those destructive fonts can be categorized under this. So just make sure that you don't use font anyhow. How do we use font? I've said it earlier. Now fonts evoke emotional responses and association based on their design characteristic, historical context, and cultural connotation. Here are some example. Now example, we have serif fonts. Now serif fonts are often perceived as traditional, formal, and authoritative. They are suitable for academic, legal, and editorial content. I've said it earlier. If you want to write something that is not too official, there's no point you using serif font. There's no point. The only way you can use serif font is if you are making a design with just one design, like one word design. Don't use it too much. I may want to write the word Thanksgiving and I look for a serif font. That is sometimes allowed. But I cannot write, this is an official this is, I just want to greet you, I love you and all, and I'm writing it with all serif. No, it's connotating authority, it's connotating formality and legality and whateverity you call it. So anyways, we are moving to sans serif font. Now you see sans serif font, they are modern, clean. I've said it earlier. What we use them for is because of their simplicity, because of, so we use them for digital interface and contemporary designs, right? So they are popular for digital interface and contemporary design. So then script fonts, they evoke sense of elegance, sophistication, personalization, often used for formal invitation, branding, and decorative purpose. Then decorative fonts comes in a wide range of style and theme, from from ornate to bold, to whimsical to bold to playful. So they convey specific emotion or theme in design. So you don't just use font anyhow. There's this popular this thing. So imagine we should write um I will find you. We write it differently. I will find you Then we write this also, and say we write um, I will find you. You know, I just want you guys to understand why we don't use fonts anyhow. Then this third one, we say uh, I will find you. I bet some of you are even reading it with different tones. Like you are reading it with different tone, honestly. So and that's because fonts set tones. Fonts set tones. So font set tones, and you have to understand the tone of each font. So let's say I will find this basically is saying I will find you officially. I will find you. So maybe maybe for example, an official is talking to his subordinate and they are telling, I will find you, be careful. And the second one, maybe I'm just talking to someone unofficially and say, I will find you. So then the third one is kind of talking, and the third and fourth one is kind of looking playful. I will find you. Then the last one is majorly for love. You're already reading it as if it's love stuff. I will find you, baby, in front of it. Yeah. So fonts are very important. And the last one we have to talk about before we move down to colors is how font weight and size affect your design. So font weights are also very important in design because you don't just use weight of fonts anyhow. Bold, we have why we use bold fonts, we have why we use italic fonts, and we have why we use light or thin font. So for bold fonts are associated with strength, they are associated with importance, and they are associated with emphasis. So most time we use them on headlines. So bold font, you can't use bold font for the body of a paragraph text. You cannot, because it's going to be too jam packed. How many emphasis are you laying? So bold fonts are majorly used as heading most time to convey importance and to convey strength. So, but italic fonts are also used as emphasis. However, these emphasis are often like elegance kind of emphasis, quote, citation, and also these are kind of emphasis that italic fonts can add to your design. So you don't just use them anywhere. While the last one, we have light or thin font, which convey delicacy, subtle, and sophistication. And most time we use them for our paragraph text. We use them for um, while we are trying to put paragraph together. Anyways, then heavy or thick font implies strength, stability, and solidity. So you guys, I believe you understand what fonts and how fonts can affect your design. So from now, I don't think you will be using fonts anyhow anymore. So make sure that before you jump into downloading fonts, because when I also started, Jesus, I downloaded 4,000 plus fonts. Font then was like, it was like a something I've earned. It's like a treasure. When I started in 2015, it's like a treasure. That's font for me, you know. So, but then it got to a point now, you won't find more than the font I use every day. And the font I use, Bibas, I use what's it called? I use Bibas, I use Montserrat, and I use Poppins. You see that three fonts? After that three fonts, there's nothing I'm doing again. Like I use it in almost all of my designs. You know, if a font for me, if it's not necessary to use a font, I don't download it. So there's no point trying out different fonts. So just know what a font is supposed to do, and let it do its work, and you move on to the next design. Don't jam pack your system, or it will slow you down. It will slow you down. Fonts are important, and you have to understand how to use them, and that is what we have said here. So if you don't understand, you can read the PDF, go through it again, watch this video again, and from here we'll be moving into colors